end of Iowa's first archery split is rapidly approaching, and with its end will come a 16-day break for our bow hunters. We have had several encounters in the past few days, but hunting with a bow over food can be frustrating. Seeing the bucks is fairly easy, but killing them is another thing altogether. These open feeding areas are ideal for gun hunting, but very challenging with the limited range of a bow. On December 2nd, Jared Mills is back after the Big 10-pointer, trying to break this code.
Shortly after 2:30 here, afternoon, December 2nd, and the race is on before gun season gets here. We have, after tonight, 4 days left to get it done, so we're racing against time, but we're after this Big 10 that we've seen twice now out in this cut cornfield. I don't have a name for him, but he's my primary target, the deer I'd most like to kill right now. Brought the decoy along tonight just because I've talked about it before, but this cornfield's so big and trying to get a deer into bow range is a challenge, so I'm hoping the decoy, while he may not come in looking to fight, I'm hoping it just piques his curiosity enough to come over here, or if we try to call to him, he's got something to key in on and come investigate. We'll see what happens. We've got about 2 hours left in our sit, and just hoping he comes out in the same spot he has been. If that's the case, I think we're in the game.
While Jared watches the large cornfield, Mike Reed and company are making their way to a redneck blind that is located between multiple food sources.
Well, it's Monday, December 2nd. We're down to our last few days before the Iowa shotgun season. I worked most of the day today. I was able to get out about 2:30, and we decided to do something a little more lighthearted. I am on a doe mission. I only have a buck tag for the urban zone, and then Max has his buck tag still, and I've got a couple mature bucks I've got on camera out here, and if one of those guys shows up, hopefully Max can get a shot at him. And there's got quite a bit of food right here, everything the deer should want. The weather's pretty nice. We've got a west-northwest wind that's really, really light right now. It's about 32 degrees and clear skies. So it's a beautiful day. And if we're hoping for at least getting a couple does down, and if we're lucky, maybe a good buck will show up. He's liking them turnips. You want to take a look at him?
Oh, we're just 15 minutes into the hunt, and Mike looks over. There's already a mature deer that he'd like for me to shoot.
Is he behind that hackberry for you, or you can see him? Oh, I got him. He's working that scrape. I'll range him.
How far is he there?
65.
Cool to see him. Look at the mass on his beak.
Sweet. Well, that got pretty exciting. That 8-point, I've got a lot of pictures of. And he was working the scrapes along the edge of the brassicas, and then right at the last minute he decided to cut this corner and go out in the beans. So the closest he got was about 59. I thought for sure he was going to come work the scrape at 30 yards and give Max a shot. And then while he's out here, got to see one of the deer that I mentioned earlier in the year that I really wanted to see. He's just a really nice, big 9-point, long beams, good mass. And he looks, I have him as I was on the fence earlier in the year, but by the end of October, I decided he was a 4-year-old and I wasn't going to hunt him this year. We're down to about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, so I'm going to sit tight. Hopefully that 8-point makes his way back out here.
The awesome 4-year-old buck steps back out, but unfortunately Max Mongrello's target buck doesn't return. Back on the big cornfield, Jared's action is yet to begin.
Alright, it's 4 o'clock now, and no deer yet. Hopefully they start moving soon. I figured I'd take a minute to talk about the decoy placement and the setup I have, and how I usually like to position them. You know, there's a general scenario where you set the decoy up so that ideally a buck, when he tries to circle downwind of the decoy, it's in between you and the decoy, giving you a nice broadside shot. But most cases I face it towards us in the tree because most of the time the buck's gonna circle downwind on the front side of it, the head side of it. So that's the script for tonight. Let's see if he follows it, and hopefully, like I said, the deer start moving soon. We got about half hour till sunset. No, I'm saying it won't pick its head up. Dude, it is him. Away. Should I keep going now? Well, that one hurt a little bit. I thought for sure we were gonna have that deer on the ground tonight. First of all, I can't believe he was the only deer we saw. It's getting to be late season hunting. Usually the bucks are the last ones in the field, and he was the only deer we saw. Great conditions, could see a ton of that cornfield, and he came out with probably 10 to 15 minutes of light left, and that was all we saw. And for a second time in a row, we were able to rattle him over 200 yards all the way down to our end of the field. And for the second time in a row, he's gone in the same spot. He didn't get closer than about 60 yards tonight. And I thought he would see that decoy and commit. That was the whole point of having a decoy out there, was in a calling scenario, we'd give him something to key in on and commit the rest of the way on our side of the corner. And it just didn't work. He stopped and stared at that decoy forever. And the only two things I can think of are, one, the wind died down to nothing right at dark. And so it might have just been variable just enough that he got a little bit of something. Or two, he just didn't like the decoy. Maybe he was waiting for it to move or something just to make him feel a little more comfortable. And at the end, he just turned and went back to where he came from. He ran across the cornfield, and when I last saw him, he was walking back into the brush. So it's hard to believe that didn't work. I don't I don't know what all we could have done differently there, but he's our number one target for sure. My next best option that I can think of would be to get in ghillie suits and get on that fence line that they keep wanting to go to, that he was heading towards before we called to him tonight. And it's a very low odds, high risk move, but I think my chances are 0 of killing him in this tree we're in tonight.
Another encounter with a great buck, but just not close enough for a bow shot. The following morning, Jared decides to hunt the project farm. His target is a huge framed buck that has shown up on his cutty-back cameras several times throughout the season. The buck never comes past, but a different buck walks by in bow range. Ultimately, Jared lets the deer pass, hoping it will survive until next season. For the evening hunt, Jared decides to put on a ghillie suit and try to intercept the big 10-pointer before he gets to the cornfield. However, only does step out, as the buck never appears. Mike Reed encounters the beautiful 4-year-old buck for the second hunt in a row. With only 3 days until the firearm season, Jared gears up for ghillie hunt number 2.
It's December 4th, afternoon hunt. We're trying something a little bit different. We're trying a different spot. You know, I've been hunting them up on that cut cornfield that's up the hill from me here. Down below here, there's some standing beans, and obviously I've been hunting up there and I've been seeing him up there, but I haven't hunted down here to know whether or not he's coming down here every once in a while too. I've had some hunts where I haven't seen him up there, so maybe he comes down to these beans. I know there's deer hitting him, I just don't know if he's one of them. I'm out in this CRP in Grants. There's actually a row of trees, big enough trees to hunt out of, and that's where Grant's at. It just is, they're kind of out of the game as far as a bow shot, so we'll see what happens in that. I tried to position myself. There's a little bit of a lane that leads down to these beans. If he did that, it'd be about perfect.
With deer less than 20 yards away, Jared must stay hidden long enough for the buck to appear. 150 miles to the west, Josh Sparks is on his way to the stand.
Well, good evening, guys. I'm out for a really quick hunt. It's about 3:30, and I am out for my first hunt on the farm that I helped manage does for quite a while. There is one buck in here that I would like to shoot. He's a tight-racked 8-pointer that is just a bully. If you look at every trail cam photo we've gotten of him. We tried shooting him last year, just couldn't catch up with him, but he has been in this area a couple times this year. I suspect he's further to our east. That's just where I've been getting him on camera most recently. And that's going to be where the better food sources are, but feels good to be back in a tree. I do know that. And with any luck, by the time the night's over, we'll have a deer come out in this food plot and offer me a shot.
Back in eastern Iowa, the bean field below Jared's ground position is filling with deer.
Well, this is starting to feel like deja vu. What a crazy hunt. He was 60 yards and walking straight at me. But the problem was I had does inside 10 yards at the same time. So it was going to be interesting either way to see if I could even get drawn back and get a shot off at him with that many deer around, but I would have liked the opportunity to have tried. Crazy. It's that ground hunting is pretty intense. 2 days left to try to get it done. I think those bucks' days are numbered, either by me, hopefully. If not, I'm sure the shotgun hunters that are coming out in the next couple weeks are going to have a good chance at them. So hopefully we can get it done one of these last 2 days.
The final day of the first archery split is here, and Josh Sparks heads to a redneck blind.
Well, hey guys, it's December 6th, and it's about 3:30 here. Tonight, as you can tell, we're hunting a redneck blind, and the deer finally started to move. We got, I think it's 7 does, sitting about 250 yards away. We're really hoping that these deer are going to make their way out to this corn that's in front of us. And tonight's mission is any doe that's going to make its way past the blind. And there's also a buck that we know really well. He's a tight-racked 8-pointer. He was actually on this camera last night at 5:20, 5:30. So we got colder temperatures this evening. I think 20 degrees or so of a difference. And with any luck, that'll get him up on his feet earlier and he'll come by this blind again.
Easy. You're good.
Right.
Smoke City. She ain't going very far. Yeah, she's gonna pile up right there.
Sweet. One doe. That's what's up, buddy.
Oh boy.
That could not work any more perfect. Yes. Dude. So, I just had those 2 does working. But I was worried as if I shot one of them, they were going to run to where they came from. Because this is where I'm expecting that tight-racked 8-pointer to come from. They ran this way, so I don't it just hit 4 o'clock. Dude, we could double that. Fingers crossed. That's awesome. That's what we were hoping for. I mean, yes.
With 1 doe tag filled, Josh waits on the tide 8. 110 miles to the east, Caleb Griner and Max Mongrello are also in a tree.
It's about 4:30 here. We've seen pretty good movement so far. Actually, about 30 minutes after we got in the tree, we had a deer that I would shoot come out of the CRP a couple hundred yards off and actually work right to us. And not until we got to about 80 yards did we realized he was following a little doe. I'm not talking talking too loud right now because they're actually bedded right now within 100 yards. They're just bedded almost right off the edge of this turnip plot right here. Our hope is that pretty soon she's gonna get up and come work out into these turnips. But who knows? Anything could happen.
Oh, he's going to chase that doe, dude.
What?
He's going straight to that buck with the doe.
Where is he?
Huh?
I didn't even see him. Did he leave the field?
Yeah. I'm on. I'm on.
Alright, well, I'm partly shaken now because I just shot it, but partly because it is dropping like temperature so fast. That was a crazy way to wrap up the postseason. It's just been a crazy year. It's been a tough season, and just to have Caleb here, I mean, I can't thank him enough for taking me out on his farm, and that was just so cool. I mean, we're gonna get down out of this tree and take the camera back to the car. Collins is actually just sitting like a few hundred yards away glassing a field. He was trying to make a play for shotgun season. I'll be back with you shortly.
We just got out of the blind. What a hunt. I mean, we ended up seeing our target buck. Like I said, it was kind of crazy. We rattled at him, and he was coming. I mean, he probably closed the distance 150 yards, and then he hit that ditch, and I think he saw that buck that we call the Old Man 8, because we saw him pop out of that ditch walking away, and he just never made his way into bow range. But we ended up seeing another buck we call the Bully 10. He's just a massive, good-looking 10-pointer. And we were watching that young buck with his eye missing. He was going towards those does, and he just popped out of nowhere. So we saw just about every deer on this side of the farm I would have expected to see, which is pretty sweet. We're going to go to where we shot that doe, take up the blood trail, and hopefully she's not too far. But that was a great hunt and the first split of the bow season. Well, we just got to the field edge. Our hunt was over, but Max just gave me a call, and sounds like he put a buck on the ground tonight. They're about to go track him, and I just wanted to wish him a huge congratulations. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. He's been busting his butt for me all fall, whether it be editing, going and hunting, hanging hunting in public. We've just had a blast, and to have the last night, both of us be able to fill a tag, couldn't be any more happy for him. Can't wait to see photos of the buck. Just felt the need to really wish him a big congratulations, and hopefully it's the first of many Iowa bucks for him.
This is like the most blood I've ever seen. Make it 10 yards in the woods, baby. All right, well, we got them all tagged up and dragged out here to the little scrape plot here. What just an epic culmination of events this season has been. I mean, since I was a kid, Iowa's just been a lifelong dream, and this season's just been amazing. The amount of encounters that between me and Josh, it's just, we're well over a dozen encounters of mature bucks, and for it to finally happen with 10 minutes to go in the regular archery season is just unbelievable.
Got to see one of the deer that I mentioned earlier in the year that I really wanted to see. He's just a really nice, big 9-point, long beams, good mass.
I think this buck's days are numbered, either by me, hopefully. If not, I'm sure the shotgun hunters that are coming out in the next couple weeks are going to have a good chance at him. So
Max just gave me a call, and sounds like he put a buck on the ground tonight. They're about to go track him. Just felt the need to really wish him a big congratulations, and hopefully it's the first of many Iowa bucks for him.
For it to finally happen with 10 minutes to go in the regular archery season is just unbelievable.
The first part of Iowa's bow season is over. Jared's efforts for the big 10-pointer produced some heart-stopping moments, but now he must wait to see how that story will end. Josh Sparks still searches for his chance at a buck, but he enjoys the opportunity to celebrate with friend Max Mongrello as Max tags his first Iowa buck. Mike Reed, Drake Lamb, and myself all look ahead too, anxiously waiting for the firearm season to end. Not everyone is waiting, however. Owen Riegler is gearing up for the annual gun hunt, one of his favorite times of the year. With the great equalizer in his hands, we can expect plenty of action from Owen in the next 2 weeks. Most of us may be on the sideline now, but that doesn't stop us from planning our moves once the bow season reopens. When the late bow season arrives, we'll have to embrace new strategies. Conditions in late December will be a lot different than when we were chasing November.